The major problem with AI generated content is that it's generic. And now I can sense an AI generated content from far off.
Hello, Shubham. How are you?
I'm doing good. Absolutely. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Can you tell me a bit about yourself, please?
Sure. So, hi everyone. My name is Shubham Batt and I am based out of India right now in Bangalore, the Silicon Valley of India. And I have been a product designer for last 5 years. Before that, I have been working as a developer, front-end developer for a year, and then I switched to product design. And I'm majorly doing that until recently, where I quit my job and decided to do something of my own. And that's where a lot of things started, the stuff that I've been up. But majorly, I've been into product design, and it's been 5 years in the corporate sector for me now.
That's wonderful. You were able to code some of your product yourself?
The initial version of it, I can do
Yeah.
basic MVP part of it. But then when it comes to the more technical part of it, I have to seek help. And the good part is that I have been surrounded with people who are extremely technical. My friends, my peers, my colleagues that I've worked with, they have been of great help for me. And I can just go and ask them, okay, what do I do now? And that's where a lot of help comes for me. And that's where my confidence comes from as well, where I can seek help from anybody who's very technical. There are people in my network who have been CTOs and all those things. I've been very fortunate around that. Yeah.
So can you tell me more about your product?
Sure. So the name is Createful. Grateful. So that's there's some wordplay sort of a thing that you have to be grateful with that because you are in a place to create content. So that's where the wordplay comes from. And then everybody wants to be a creator at this point in time. There's a bit of creator economy and all those things. And I merged the creator part of it and being grateful about it. And I created Createful. So it's majorly LinkedIn Ops platform where, when you create content, you have to plan for days when you are not ready to put out content or you are not able to put up content. And then you may have some idea, but you have already posted for the day and you cannot, put content today. So what you can do is you can schedule and all those things. So basically it's a LinkedIn Ops platform, which helps you in the content creation journey with respect to LinkedIn. It's a very particular microsource. If I have to put it, it's a microsource for LinkedIn around creating. It helps you grow in LinkedIn, and it helps you in the content creation pieces where you can schedule, save as drafts, you can generate ideas, and you can also have micro tools in terms of that. Okay, let's say you want to create your own bio, like bio generators, summary generators, and all those things. So it's a collection of utility tools, if you can say about.
So what inspired you to create the product?
I'm a social media junkie in terms of that I'm always on social media. However, I have slowly started getting off from platforms because they are dopamine extractors, right? You spend a lot of time in social media and all those things. And over the time, I have gotten off from Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and all those things because it started affecting my things. The only platform that I stuck with was LinkedIn. And back then, when I was in college, I created 100 days consistently on LinkedIn. And that's where my creator journey started from. And whatever traction or whatever distribution I have on my platform, whenever I release a side project, all of it comes from LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a platform which I know how it works, how the algorithm works, and all those things. And LinkedIn, if I have to put it, LinkedIn comes very naturally to me of all the social media platforms, right? So when I started off of thinking about what can I do, and I wanted to start something with a Microsoft sort of a thing, like a very vertical, very small tool. And I thought like there is some opportunity where there are schedulers for Instagram, there are scheduler for TikTok, there are other things for other utility tools for other platforms. But there are tools for sure in this niche. But I thought, okay, maybe the market is already validated. I can also create and get started with and see what's in there. And that's what inspired me to create Createful.
So did you validate it much independent of that, or did you speak to many other people?
I didn't speak to a lot of people, maybe two or three people who were actively creating content on LinkedIn. However, since I had been a creator myself, I knew that these are the problems that come to me. So basically, I was very much creating it for myself rather than anybody else. So I was solving my own itch where I wanted to put up a lot of content of the day. So let's say there are days when I don't want to write and all those things, I have some backfill content to put it on the LinkedIn because one thing that I firmly believe in that consistency beats perfection. So you need to be consistent in order to grow your personal brand or whatever, right? And that's where this validation comes from that, okay, if not everybody, I'll only use it. I'm building it for myself. So that's the validation that I was not a typical market research sort of a validation, but yeah, that's what, how I
Yeah.
validated or how I decided to build it.
You'd be surprised at how frequently I hear, "I built it for myself," and I validated a little bit to make sure I wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
But then outside of that, it's we just went ahead and we started building.
Yeah.
So would you say it built more for the creators themselves that are focused on LinkedIn, or would it be for like small businesses with, some junior marketers who need to get active, or what's the key target?
As of now, like anybody who wants to create a personal brand through creation on the platform, they can use it very well. In the future, we can extend the functionality to agency owners as well, where you can have multiple pages associated with your one account and you can manage it from the same place itself. But as of now, it's more on individual creators.
Okay. So you came fourth on the 10th of March on Product Hunt.
Yeah.
I can see from your smile you've enjoyed it. How did it feel?
Like the journey in terms of it was a roller coaster. I'll tell you
Mhm.
about what happened and all those things, right? So I have a massive AM/PM confusion in my life. So what happens is that I have, gone through flights. Like I thought that I have, booked a flight for some PM time. I woke up at AM time and then I missed the flight or something of that sort. So that's what happened. And what
Yeah.
happened was that I scheduled the launch for Sunday, and I thought that I scheduled the launch on Sunday, and it got scheduled the same day. And then I went to sleep. I took a nap, and then when I woke up, the launch was already there. And then out of panic, I messaged the product and support that, can you delete it? But they were offline because they operate in PT time and I operate in IST time zone, right? But then I forgot about it that, okay, then I thought, okay, uh, the launch is already started. Why do not I start promoting it? So then I started promoting and I was getting good traction. I got like some 50 odd votes in a span of some hours. But when the product and support came back online, they deleted that. And then I just messaged them that, okay, can you restore that? And then they said that there's no possible way they can restore it. And I was just devastated in terms of, okay, I shouldn't be doing this and all. I like, okay, let me not relaunch it. What's the point of it and all those things? But then I decided, okay, we have, took out time. Like it took us 2 months to build this. Let's just give it a chance. Let's just relaunch it. I'll not actively promote it and all those things. And then I launched it the next day. And then I was like, okay, let's give it an extra push this time. Let's just do our best. And then I started promoting it on the strategy, whatever I have executed. And from that on, it started like coming on the featured page. It went on to become the number 4 product of the day. And now when I think of it, I like you can only connect the dots backward, right? I think that if we would have put in a little more effort, we would have had a better place, but no regrets so far. Yeah,
It's a wonderful story, and I can imagine a bit of an emotional roller coaster.
absolutely.
I know I've seen a few people on different platforms get upset about losing a follower or two, but having it deleted
Yeah,
without them even checking when they woke up must have been a bit of a shock to the system.
yeah, yeah.
From there, did you bother to, but obviously having a designer's background, did you spend a bit of time designing some nice things beforehand, or
Or
just on the day you made it all?
when you start to do something, right, there are a lot of things that you have to keep a tab on and you can't do all of them. So you have to manage an intern. You have to like also to take a tab on the subscription status or the payment gateway that you are using and all those things, right? So you can't do a lot of stuff. So you are basically firefighting every day. So
Mhm.
what happened was that I designed all the assets and everything the same day as the launch was.
Yeah.
And there was no like pre-preparation because there was no time actually.
So did you use your tool to promote it on LinkedIn?
Yes, I had been like, so all the posts that I was doing was via Createful. That's what,
Fantastic.
like, so there's this one company that I worked for quizzes. So they had this concept called dog foodie. So eat your own food, right? So
Yeah.
I was like, whatever things that I'll be putting out for others, I should be able to do it myself.
Mm.
That's where I was just using it for. And then I found a lot of bugs as well while doing so. Uh,
Yeah.
that's why it has been helpful. I still use my own tool to do my thing on LinkedIn. Yeah.
My co-founder, it's a famous, he loves the phrase, eating your own dog food.
Yeah.
And the first time he said it, I was like, what did you just say? He's like, eating your own dog food. And he's like, do you know, like getting high on your own supply? And I'm thinking, what have I missed something here? It's like using your own product. Oh, okay. I understand that. But it makes sense, though, doesn't it? If you're going to build a tool for yourself and you have to use it for yourself, or you've just created something to fill up the weekends and perhaps learn how to code as opposed to release a product.
Yeah.
So, from the launch on product, and how's the feedback been? People being positive, negative with you? Is it better or worse than you expected?
So I think like on a bird eye level, the feedback has been very positive. And to be till date, we have 7 paying customers now. Like 90% of them are annual subscriptions. So I'm assuming we're doing something good there. Like we have more in the pipeline. So we have like people who are signing up and all those things. So we'll be reaching out to them. We'll be doing a sales pipeline sort of a thing so as to increase the revenue part of it like that. But that aside, the feedback has been majorly positive. There were only few hiccups where people who were signing up via an email and all those things, they were not able to sign up. But then we quickly rectified that. We were on it on that particular day, but majorly it had been positive.
Okay. So from there, have they given you any insights into what they'd like for you to develop next for them? Have they given you a roadmap that's longer than your arm, or have they said, this is perfect, this is how we want it?
Yeah. So I think like right now, we have been seeing that, okay, what sort of people are using it, but the number of people are less in terms of don't have the bigger sample space. But what we are looking at is that how people will be using it in a week so as to see what kind of patterns are emerging out. It's just too soon to say if we can craft a roadmap out of it right now. However, they have been giving active feedback that okay, like today morning, there's this one feedback that came in that, okay, we need more templates and we need more templates around an event kind of a thing. You attended an event, what sort of learnings you can put out, and we need a template for that and all those things. So we have been getting active feedback from the users as well right now. Yeah.
So do you have a large roadmap for this product? Is it intended to stay micro SaaS, or is it the foundation for you to build a big product? What do you think?
At this point in time, I think I cannot comment on whether it will become a big, large thing. And to be honest, I'll tell you that LinkedIn API is restrictive. So if you have to build on one platform, the first thing is that it's restrictive basically, right? So you can't do a lot of things, even though
Mhm.
there are great tools that can be built on top of LinkedIn, but they rate limit it a lot. They don't expose certain things. You can't do a lot of things on those things, right? So I feel that it will remain a micro SaaS for a while. If in future LinkedIn opens up their API to be more dynamic, more democratized, I think there's a scope to do a lot of things on this LinkedIn side of things, because I feel people are now paying a lot of attention to LinkedIn, and because other platforms are Instagram, like everybody wanted to be Instagram wanted to be TikTok wanted to be a long form video. Now X is also doing long form videos. I think the only place which is still same in terms of that it has remained what it was is LinkedIn as of now. So that way it has a lot of potential.
I can remember being first or second year of university, which I was there a decade ago or so, maybe even more actually. And one of our lecturers says to us, "Oh, go and sign up for LinkedIn." And all of the class went and signed up for LinkedIn, and we didn't have a clue what was happening or why we were there. And she says, just add everybody who you can see. And obviously, that was a wild west when it first came along, and that account was useless. I got hacked and I lost it. But I can remember back when it wasn't. And to be fair, LinkedIn hasn't. You're right; it hasn't really changed much at all.
Yeah.
It's it's still pretty much the same format. It'd be interesting to look at the Wayback Machine and see if this is actually how much it's changed, because I can imagine it's only been tiny incremental changes, hasn't it? As opposed to, a complete shift in content types. I know video came in somewhere along the road. That wasn't an original feature, but images and stuff was there. And the PDFs and things seem to be new as well. But outside of that, it's you're right. I've never thought they're probably the first one to have true product market fit, aren't they? Because they haven't had to change
Yeah,
much.
yeah, absolutely. They have been, I think they have been putting a lot of focus on, so like I read it somewhere that LinkedIn, the way LinkedIn algorithm is made is that it prevents you from going viral.
Right.
Yeah. So you cannot amass a large number of likes on this platform, and hence the sanctity of the platform has remained the way it is. Unlike other platforms where you can just break records after records if you crack that. For example, the
Mhm.
beast is cracking YouTube left, right, center right now. right? And then there are a couple of influencers on Twitter or like now X and Instagram and all those things, but you can't do that the same on LinkedIn. So yeah.
'Cause I've seen a few people seem to turn up every now and again, liked by a different person or whatever, but I've never really noticed that to be the case, but I've never really thought about it. It's interesting to see what the restrictions are and how they work it.
Yeah.
But it certainly does make you work a bit harder when you don't get as many pats in the back, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It's so
Um,
hard, yeah. Like then you have to lead by
yeah.
content.
So if somebody was to use your tool, let's say the year, and they were to post consistently, what would you expect the results to look like?
What I feel is that it's just an operations tool. A majority of it, like if the growth has to happen, that's what I'll tell you, right? I I made one Chrome extension which would give you AI generated comments that you can post on other posts and everything. And I scraped it because while I was building it, I realized that the sanctity of this platform, my moral compass didn't allow that, because the sanctity of this platform is that I personally would not want like a lot of AI generated comments on my posts, even as
Yeah, of
feels
course.
real. And not to shit on any other platforms, but a lot of platforms who are coming up, they are helping you generate AI generated content. But with AI generated content, you can only go so far,
Mm.
right? And that's what I didn't want to do. My idea was
Yeah.
that you lead by your content will aid you in terms of going the extra mile. So, for example, you write your first draft, will help you edit that draft, will help you remove all the grammatical errors, will give you what kind of hashtags you can include. We will add emoticons for you. We will condense it if you need. But the original thought will have to come from you, because that's
Yeah.
your voice. That's your insight that you can bring to the platform, right? Because the major problem with AI generated content is that it's generic. And now I can sense an AI generated content from far off, that this particular
Yeah.
thing is AI generated, and now people will, and slowly and steadily, I'm pretty sure the algorithms will also detect that this is an AI generated content, and then they'll start punishing it. So it's not a any platform who is trying to build on AI generated content part of it. I think they're being very short sighted.
Mhm.
That's what I didn't want it to do. With respect to your question, that if they have to use it, what do you see them doing and all that? What I feel is that if you post, so our tool is designed for you to post consistently on this platform.
Mhm.
There are days when you're out of ideas. We have got you covered. We give you ideas what to write about. There are days that there are days you are on a spree of writing content. You write, you schedule it from there, and then you don't have to worry about it, right? It goes on your like a perfect time that you give it to, right? And then you
Mhm.
also have, like, there are days when you just have ideas, you can just put them on draft and write it later as well. It's majorly around giving you certain tools that help you in your content creation journey. And if you do that
Yeah.
consistently and very religiously, you will certainly grow on this platform. Because what I have seen so far in my personal journey here is that LinkedIn rewards consistency, and that's the
Yeah.
premise of what has gone behind making this product.
I think you've touched on something with the AI that's becoming more and more apparent. I've seen a lot of people and some highly respected marketers who I've known for quite a while, and I've seen some posts from them, and they've started to comment on the LinkedIn where it asks you to comment on
Mm.
things. And I've read them and I'm thinking, you used to be smarter than this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I used to like when you posted something, even if it was half a page long, therefore I'd read it. And now in a paragraph, I know that you've chosen to go down the chat route and it says in the realm of this or in the complex business world that or this or that or the other. And there's just a few phrases, as you say, the first two or three words, and you know straight away that that's AI generated content and it's starting to become overuse it. I think over time there's going to be a tool like yours will demonstrate the value to somebody the longer they've used it, so that they're going to realize, well, actually, my friend and I, we both started off trying to be LinkedIn content creators more at the same time. We've created the similar amount of posts. He's used Chat GTP.
Mm.
I've used Createful. And from there, I've been able to say, right then, each one of my posts, I went from 100 followers, the same as what he did, give or take. I'm at 4,000 now, and he's still at 150
Mm. Yeah.
because people like it the first time they read it. And then they start to realize you've got a more extensive vocabulary than this. Sometimes, wonderful, great, insightful. These are the words that it might use, you wouldn't use every day. You're going to use something different, and that's what I think chat's fallen down on. It's because it thinks about what words next. Unless you ban them, it's going to keep giving you them.
Yeah.
So I think you're very right. In the long run, we're going to look into actually we want to read the human expert. We don't want to read the person who knows how to write a prompt.
Yeah.
Um, but it's a good insight, and I think we'll see a lot of people running away from AI soon because it's saturated the market, hasn't it?
Yeah, actually, like I think like you're in the marketing world, right? I have a couple of people in my network who have blogs and all those things with respect to e-commerce reviews and all those things, right? And they like when this AI thing came up, they started using, so they fired their writers and all those things, and they started writing AI generated content. Now I can see it firsthand from their experience that their like Google has started penalizing them.
Yeah.
Their
Oh, yeah.
their traffic is down, like going down crazily now. And
Mhm.
if a platform like Google is doing this, like what's stopping LinkedIn to do that in the future? I'm pretty sure they're already
Mhm.
working on that.
Yeah, well, of course, their search function's not the core of their business like it is for Google, but at the end of the day, content still is very valuable to them, if not more so. Google will give you what you're looking for, but on LinkedIn, it's supposed to keep you engaged with the platform and as long as being on there as long as possible, isn't it? So it's scary to think that you have fired writers. Like you'd at least think we'll give it like maybe if we go down to one writer and ask them to use chat, they can do 4 articles instead of one, perhaps. But at least you want somebody who's got the experience to know how to correct it.
They're hiring them back though.
You know that are they going to go back, or if they decide that I'm going to go to somebody who actually respects us?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, uh, are they going to go back to them, or are they going to go? Have they
I'm
gone
not
somewhere
they're
else where they're
hiring for like
respected?
I think new ones. So
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
yeah.
Okay. So with your product hunt launch,
Mm.
right, it's a success, an interesting story, probably not commonplace for most people. But from there, you've obviously learned a lot from it. Are you going to be going back and doing it again? Is it something that you think is your continued go-to-market early validation strategy?
Yeah, I have thought of these are very initial thought, and I can maybe like 2 months down the lane, I can maybe look at it again. But I think I'll probably be doing a Createful 2.0 launch and product, and that's too early to say, by the way. But I'm just thinking it in my head right now that Product Hunt is a good platform to give you if you come on the featured page, if you come on the top 3, 4 positions or 5 positions, right? I think it stays there for at least 2 days and you get good traction, good traffic coming on from multiple directions as well, multiple geographies. So that's actually a really good place. I'm not sure whether, so if you're building for creators or people who want to build their personal brand, majorly techies and all those things, right? They come on to Product Hunt. And if your audience lies in the domain that you're thinking of, Product Hunt can actually build a lot of value to it. And for us at Createful, it has proved that it brings immense value. So I'll be doing it more often. Yeah.
Any advice you would give yourself or anyone else for that matter of what to do and what not to do?
Sure. I think like a lot, I'll have a lot of insights there that, okay, always double check on the AM, PM kind of thing. Once
Yeah.
you schedule it and if you ask them, be proactive in telling that, okay, don't delete it or something, be proactive on the chat. If you have asked for anything, they're very active there. So just don't leave it like that. That will be one. Apart from that, one strategy that I'll say is that, start creating a hype around your product that I didn't do.
Yeah.
I was just circulating in my close circle and all those things, but you can start by creating your own hype and all those things. And one
Mhm.
one very good insight is that not all upvotes matter on product. And so the algorithms is in a way that people who come to product and daily or quite often, if they upvote it, your chances of coming in the top 5 positions are much better than anybody else. For example, I had 122 votes when when Createful came on the number 4 position, but the product that was below me had 162 votes, right? So
Okay.
the point is that the number of upvotes doesn't matter, the quality of upvotes matter.
Right.
So you
So
have to be very mindful of. So what happened initially? I did a launch like some 3, 4 years back, but we were nowhere in the homepage because I asked my friends, non-technical friends, to upvote it. So what they were doing was they were creating that account then and there and just upvoting it and going away. LinkedIn,
Yeah.
product hunt. I am so much into LinkedIn that I'm oftentimes
Yeah.
asked telling LinkedIn. But what happens is that product hunt detects the source of where the upvotes are coming from. If that's a new account, they're just coming, searching for your product, upvoting it, and then going back. It will be of no
Mhm.
value for you. So people who
Yeah.
have upvoted multiple times have been coming on, and they have good streaks on product hunt. If they upvote it, that's of immense value, and that will give you the number one spot. And first few hours of your product hunt launch are very crucial. So if you amass good number of upvotes in first 4 or 5 hours, you are going to make it. So that's what you need to be mindful of. And I think, like, going back, if I have to do it again, I would particularly create a good strategy and a good list of people whom I'll be reaching out to, asking if they can afford it or not. I would do that now. Yeah.
No, it makes sense because I suppose on the flip side, it's difficult to distinguish on the day at least the difference between a human and a bot,
Hmm.
unless you've done perhaps LinkedIn authentication and other things that they say, okay, this is a legitimate human,
Hmm.
and that person's LinkedIn is verified if they can tell
Hmm.
from ID and stuff uploaded. Then it's very difficult to say. You might have 100 humans come and vote for you,
Yeah.
but what's the difference? There is none, is there? So you can see why that's a factor.
Yeah.
And I've seen a product today. A lady's launched it, and she said she started 4 months ago,
Hmm.
pre-promoting, building up the network and everything. And I saw this morning incredibly active.
Hmm.
But I suppose in your defense, and this is something that everybody might know, is your time zone's quite strange.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Indian standard, IST is Indian Standard Time, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So at present for me, it's 3:15.
Hmm.
But what time is it for you?
It's almost 9 at my place, 9 p.m.
So, but it's 9:45, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because when I was trying to arrange this call, I was looking, I was thinking, dude, you look at it, half an hour. I'm not used to half an hour differences.
Hmm.
For me, everywhere was always just an hour. And obviously, it's as you speak to more people from around the world, you realize not everything is the same. And you can see why you made that mistake. But to be fair, you should have known because you've lived in that time zone for a long time. So it's
Yeah.
uh, you're not to be hard on you, getting forced on the day with the disaster that was almost and taken away. It's a fantastic job. And then being a solo developer, and doing your MVP by yourself and other things, it's something that a lot of people would aspire to do. I've certainly tried to do it. Before I was speaking to my co-founder, I don't understand what your idea is. I says, well, I'll try and build something in a no-code tool.
Hmm.
Um, and then I thought it would be better than doing a Figma. And it turns out it wasn't because it was a disaster for me.
Uh,
But you didn't try a no-code tool or anything?
no, I think because I am a little bit adapt with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I have worked as a developer for a year, front end developer to be precise. So I can code a bit of website landing pages and all those things. So I can just connect with the API and all. But with ChatGPT, it had been of great help in the starting. Now it has gotten shitty, but in the starting, it was of great help. So I was able to make a couple of Chrome extensions, couple of websites, and all those things. So because low code tools have their own learning curves, they're built in a certain way, and I
Yeah, yeah.
learned that first. So it was time consuming, and all we are trading is time right now. So I was like, okay, just save up time when you're building up, do what you know, and do it more often. Yeah.
Okay. It's something that my co-founders also told me before. He says, stick to what you know when you're starting to build. And I said, well, no, this language looks a lot better than what you're talking about. He's like, yeah, but do you want to go and have to try and learn German to have a conversation with somebody on Monday morning? He's like, well, probably not. My English is just to say good enough. So let alone my German. But yeah, I can totally see why you've done that. It was a good choice in hindsight, wasn't it? You've got out there and you said it was 2 months.
Yeah, it took us 2 months, yeah, to build it.
2 months. It's a good time frame.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to handle most of the upgrades yourself now as well, won't you? As opposed to waiting for a platform to update and change and output real code. And should you ever want to extend it later on, you've got real code there for somebody,
Yeah.
to take on full time. No, it's the right way to have done it, I think. since you know how to do it.
Thank you.
Are you planning on putting your product on any other places like
Yeah. Also, there's this one platform. So I have been thinking of putting it on multiple directory. There's this new product that has emerging up is 1000.tools, numeric 1000.tools. They list their hypothesis that we'll list 1000 tools on one platform. Uh,
Mhm.
and So they have been putting up there. I think it's currently under review, and then I'll be doing it with other directories as well. Yeah, so that's like other directories that I'll be looking at and seeing what works, what doesn't. The other thing that I'll be doing is I think I'll do some micro influencer marketing with this. Well,
Mhm.
I'll be collaborating with some micro influencers to promote this product, and that's what's next in line for me.
Okay, because I know Yanis from Creator Economy Tools was on last week
Yeah.
or this week, and he's created a tool that is to list for all of the creator economy tools. So obviously you kind of fall into that category for him.
Mhm.
So it might be interesting. I can send you his details. You can
Sure,
reach out to
absolutely. I
him.
think they'll help you help me out.
And he's an interesting fella and is quite proactive on LinkedIn. So you might get him to link and get a customer at the same time.
Absolutely. Like, thank you for the lead.
You're very welcome.
Oh,
So have you thought about places like AppSumo with lifetime deals and things like that?
lifetime deals. Okay, that's an insight. I was thinking of doing a lifetime deal for it, but then there are a couple of friends in this segment that I have worked on and all those things, right? So there are a couple of friends with whom I talked to about it, and then they advised me not to go for something like that because lifetime deals, like first AppSumo and all, they cut a lot of margins from your thing.
Mhm.
So at this point in time, it's a very early stage for me right now. Like with the feedback, if you have seen, like it's still in beta, right? So with the feedback that I'll get from these customers, I'll probably build it even more, and I'll build it superbly enough that there's some real value in it. And once that is done, maybe I can think of AppSumo or lifetime deals. But at this point in time, I've decided against it because it's too much of a hassle at this point in time, and the
Mhm.
margins aren't super great. So yeah.
Yeah. I understand that. I think if you were planning on releasing a few different tools, so there would be like a Twitter extension or there would be a few variations of what you offer,
Mm.
then AppSumo can be a good choice. But I think it can be very, very dangerous for a small company to offer their core product onto AppSumo.
Exactly.
You'd kind of treat it a bit like a product on launch, but then it'd be not part of your core because it's a very dangerous long term strategy. I think to especially if you have a lot of people who've purchased on there who wouldn't ordinarily be your target customer.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know, and you're building a product for people who are going to be cheap or always going to be cheap, and you don't care that you might introduce 1,000 features. They would never have paid for like £1,000 a month or whatever it might evolve to, but they'd only ever pay for it if it was 40 quid ever. And I think that can be very, very
Yeah.
dangerous. It gives it a few false positives.
Exactly. That's what like
Um,
my friend told me that he's my college senior. So he told me that what it does is that apps and all those things, they bring on a lot of opportunistic buyers or
mhm,
opportunistic customers to your platform, which may not add a lot of value to you and cannot even upsell to them because that's the most that they are willing to pay for your product. So
yeah, yeah,
the value of
definitely.
that customer is really, really low. And then you have to support it lifelong. So that's a bigger commitment,
Uh-huh.
right? So at this point in time, I think like pretty early on this journey. Yeah.
Yeah, especially I know like lifetime, if you're not used to the idea of SaaS and products and things,
Yeah.
you might be thinking it's going to be 25 years, but like the average customer lifetime is something like 5 for most products. So it's not that long, but when you're thinking about giving away 5 years today
Mm.
for less than what you would ordinarily charge for one, the math doesn't quite compute. And marketers are famous for being great at maths and calculating return on investment, but it doesn't sound very good to me.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So, where will people find you online?
It's just majorly on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
Shubham Batt. I'll maybe link you up. You can put that in the description and all those things. And the website is
definitely.
createful.co. Yeah.
Grateful. It's a good domain.
Yeah.
I know domains now are getting more and more difficult, and the main providers are starting to get a bit cheeky with the .ais and the .tech, and the prices are starting to be quite high
Yeah, yeah.
for just a standard domain. So it's a good one. Well done.
Thank you so much.
But thank you for joining us today. And then about 6 months' time, we'll look at catching up with you again.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to be here again, and all the best for your journey. And I wish you all the success for the podcast. I
Oh,
hope
you
that it goes great heights.
yeah. And I suppose one thing, an interesting insight. So, what does your name mean for people who don't speak
Sure.
or don't
So
understand it?
my name is Shubham and it means auspicious. So whenever we start something in India, so we say Shubham. So it means that everything, like, everything good happens to you in whatever you do.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what it means.
So you might have only prepared for product hunt the day before, but you prepared before you were born.
Sure. Like just one more thing to add here. Like I realize it right now. In my life, there's one pattern that everything happens good to me the second time. So they say second time is the charm, right? It
Yeah.
was really true for me, at least in my life.
Okay, that's an interesting insight. So it doesn't matter how bad it is the first time, you'll be back again.
Yeah,
Perhaps it's just the determination and consistency, isn't it?
maybe whatever you can make a peace with it. Yeah.
Yes. No, it's fantastic. All right then, Shubham, that's been wonderful talking to you, and I look forward to speaking to you again.
Likewise, likewise. Yeah.